Hi there, welcome to this course on Adobe Photoshop and After Effects. My name is Harshit and I'm an instructor for this class. Here in this course you will learn some lessons on photo editing and image retouching with Adobe Photoshop, where you will learn with hands-on examples for spot healing, patch tool, quick selection, clone stamp, creating a duotone effect with gradient map. You will also learn about 3D mesh and changing selected colors. Moreover, you would also learn about creating animated motion graphics and visual effects using Adobe After Effects, where you will learn to create a composition from start. You will learn about layers. You will learn to use different presets. You will learn to export your composition. Moreover, you would also learn about creating 2D motion graphics animation and creating travel map animation, photo gallery, and camera tracking. So if you're curious to learn these creative skills on Adobe Photoshop and After Effects, start learning right now. See you in the class. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson, you're going to learn about a magical tool in Photoshop that can bring a lot of information and allow you to reimagine the photo in a new way. So here, just make sure that you are in the photography dashboard, or you can choose to go with essentials. And here just below the eyedropper tool you got this spot healing brush, and this spot healing tool is magical. It comes with a lot of options. Here you can change the size of this brush, you can make a bigger selection, you can make it fine-tuned, and you can select the hardness, the impact here, and the spacing. So here just try this thing. So when its hardness is set to 0, it will barely infect anything. Make it 100% or something large, and here's the magic. We have cleared the spot of the ribbons with the um, surrounding beach or the sand areas. So spot healing tool is a magical tool in two ways. So in one way you can bring some lost information in vintage photos and a different kind of things, and in the other way spot healing also helps you reimagine the image by removing unwanted components from the image very easily. So what does spot healing do? It just takes the average of the surrounding pixels and refills the selected area with the side by areas. It do this thing by taking the average of nearby objects. So here sometimes the result may not be monotonous and it can change over time. So here when you hover around some dense pixels with different colors, you can see different results over multiple times. So just hover around. So here we got a domesticated horse, and I'm trying to just remove all the ribbons and the bands on the belts from this horse and try to keep it free. So we want to liberate this wild animal into the wild area so he can roam around in the wilderness as he wants. So we have to remove the ribbons, and our current selection is quite large in size, so just make it a little bit smaller. And here we are removing the hands of the owner, human, to set this wild animal free. Spot healing also allows you to mask or remove some people from your photos. Like if you're traveling to a tourist place and it has a dense crowd there, and sometimes there could be a few people in the background just making your photo complete nonsense. And if you want to share it in the public domain, you want some strangers to be removed. Only you and the background must be visible. So spot healing will help you definitely in a lot of scenarios. And here we are trying to do the same things. So this was a difficult subject to apply spot healing because this horse contains a lot of hairs. It has different textures. Also, it contains a variety of colors. Like our belt is in dark black color, and some section of the horse's skin and the face is generally in the dark brown. So it is difficult to distinguish between the black and the brown color here. When the subject is in the sand area or in the white skin, it is easy to remove, but you can do with over time. So just hold down the Control Z shortcut key on the keyboard to undo any failed attempt here. You have to try this thing in the multiple ways, because as you can see here, when you apply spot healing on a particular section of the image, it will generate different results over time. Say you may differ with a little bit angle, and if you are using a drawing tablet, it would be a very good thing to do, but you can always do with a mouse. Currently I'm using a mouse here to demonstrate this thing. And here we have some, in the image we can have some difficult segment to choose color. So here we have 3 or 4 overlapping colors: the black belt, the pink mouth of this horse, a white, and the brown skin tones, and the sandy desert. So spot healing brush gets confused. So what is the way out here? So simply you can zoom in and make your selection area small. This is a large image with a lot of details, generally shot with a DSLR camera, and you can use a mobile camera these days also, have a lot of information. So it's better to zoom in and sample the pixels the way they are. So here you when you zoom in, the things become very easy and smooth. So you can easily remove some sections, although some sections could be difficult, and you can try using different orientation of the spot healing. Say if you are applying a horizontal uh, marking of this spot healing, so you can try using a different angle, try to make a C out of here. And you need to practice as much as possible with this spot healing tool, and over time your editing gets better. So try to reimagine the photos the way you want and remove unwanted sections. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about patch tool in Photoshop. So you can find patch tool just below the spot healing brush, and it's allow you to mend around some segments of the photo. So here just make a selection of the thing that you want to remove. So here we have selected this car on the street, and we have to just left click and hover around. You can drag towards the upper side, lower, left, or right, anywhere out of the patch, and it will be replaced with the image underlying next to that. So here as you can see here, we earlier we got a car on the road, and we have removed it successfully. So we have created a patch or a sampled area and put it over the component that we want to remove or hide. So it is just similar to as the tailors do to mend the torn out segments of the clothes. We use not for the torn out, but we want to hide some things here in the photo. So here we got this busy street over hill station, but we want to remove some uh, signboards, advertisements, and these cars from the scene, and we want to make the road almost clear. So here just repeat the same steps using the patch tool, and you can use a combination of different selection and removal tool as well, but the point here is with the patch tool. So as you can see here, we are trying to make a selection using the patch tool for this car that is close to the tree, and when we try to create a patch, it won't be a gradual patch, it will have a blur effect, simply because we got a tree too much closer than that. So it takes the sample. So let's try on a different car. So here we have smoothly removed this car, and there's a little bit section of the blur segment, and we can clear it using the spot healing brush. So you can also remove other segments, like here we got another signboard, and just make a clear selection. If you find any difficulty in selection, just zoom in to the photo for a fine-tuned selection. Otherwise you can remove things the way. So here we got left with 2 more cars that we want to remove. So just repeat the same step, just make a patch tool selection and just hover around, select some area, try to create a sharp boundary here, but still there's a blurry effect. So you can clear it out using the spot healing brush. You need to zoom in more to get a fine corrected. So here we can see the error because some parts of the tree is overlapping with this car, and this we got this green blur effect. We also need to select the shadowed area to make a clear selection, and here just try to do the same thing. Again we got this blurred area, but we can remove. Just go to spot healing brush and just change the size for the brush to make it fit, and hover around on the blurred area, just reduce a little bit to have a fine adjustment. Selected area, just hover around to get a clear view of the photo, and here we got the road is cleaned up and the blur has been removed. So in the similar way, if you want to remove something with a clean and with a finished approach, you may use a combination of tools such as patch and a spot healing brush, and either of any selection tool, a magic wand or lasso tool as well. So here we got this thing. So it looks better than the earlier versions. And now we got this one more car, and here it is challenging because half segment of the car is covered on the road and half segment is on the mountain. So we cannot just simply remove everything. So here you can see that spot healing brush works very well in removing the blurred area in this part. So in the similar way, you can also use the patch tool in two parts, or you can use the spot healing brush as well. So if you are making a selection over a large area, it's better to increase the size of this spot healing brush, and sometimes it could generate some weird results, but don't worry. Just you need to reapply the spot healing brush over and over again to make a clear adjustment. And once if you're not satisfied, you can always undo the changes. Control plus Z would be better if you want to move one step backwards. And here over time when you apply, it gets the image of the ground. So here it is, we have almost clearly removed, and here it is, you got this these cars are clearly removed. So here we got this image where there is no car or the signboards. We have removed two signboards and four cars actually from the scene, and you can see the earlier image that was crowded. So once we zoom out and look towards the road, it looks very clear. So in the similar way, if you have a photograph of some tourist place and you want to remove some persons or some things, some unwanted things from the image, you can use a combination of patch tool and a spot healing brush to remove different things. So this is how you use the patch tool and the spot healing brush in Photoshop. So try to create your own photo edits, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about very interesting selection tool in Photoshop. That's a quick selection tool. So quick selection tool is just like a paintbrush, and you can select your subject or object from the photo very easily and very quickly. So let's learn about the selection tool here. So you can find the selection tool just above the eyedropper tool, and this is a quick selection. So you just need your mouse, or if you have a drawing tablet, you can use a drawing tablet to make a selection. You have to just paint around the object that you want to have, say, and you can increase the area over time. You can change the size of the brush with the control, and you can also control the hardness and other options. So you just need to move it around the subject. Here we have a street dog and we have to select it to make a selection. As subjects like a dog or humans have a lot of hairs, and we would require refine as tool that we will be doing later after we have made the selection. So we just need to move around this brush, selecting entire area. Don't worry if unwanted areas have been selected, we can remove it very easily. So you just need to press the Alt key and just paint over the area that you want to cancel out. So it's better to zoom into the photo to get a fine selection, and this is how. So we earlier we have selected both the legs and ground in between, and we can remove the leaves and other unwanted components from our mask. So here we are selecting, so just press the alt, hold the alt key on the keyboard, and just paint around using the selection brush. Quick selection is the fastest way to select any subject, although you can use a magic wand, you can use the lasso tools and other selection option as well, but I prefer using the quick selection tool when I'm in a hurry. Okay, and it selects the subject very well. It's widely used to make a selection. So here it is. We have just move around the photo, and here we have selected the dog, the face, the body, the legs, and now it's time to select the tail and remove few section near the ears that we want to remove. Just hold the alt and move around. It's better to use the smaller brush size when you are canceling or removing some components from the selection. Okay, because it will allow you to have the edges and the curves intact. Otherwise, if you take a bigger size selection brush, it will remove a bigger area, and it's not desirable in this scenario. So here just make a selection, and here's a quick tip that say your tail is in the medium size of the brush, but you have to take the size of the brush is smaller than the area to be selected. Okay, don't take it to the equal size, don't take a long size, just take it right small, a little bit smaller than the area to be covered, and remove unwanted sections whenever you want. Just try to make this selection and try to save it or create a mask of the photo, and if anything goes wrong, just press undo, Control Z, and start again. So here it is. We have selected, and we will create a mask here. Just move to this create a mask option, and here we have isolated. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about clone stamp tool in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got two different shots of the same photo, same subject who is playing a game of cricket. So let's merge them together. Here we got a window, orange, and two split view. So here we can look at both of these images together in the vertical way. So here on the left hand side we got an image, and we want to apply clone stamp. So just select a clone stamp and take a sample of the subject that you want to insert. So we are going to insert this ball, cricket ball, from the right image to the left side. So on the right hand side you can see the person actually played the ball. Okay, and here we can place the ball anywhere, but to make it more exact, it's better to just place it somewhere right in the place it was there in the second photo. So this way we can have two shots of a person missing a ball and person actually taking a ball. Okay, so first shot could be a wide ball or a no ball, and the second ball is a hit. It could be 4, 6, anything in one run. So this way we can alter the concept of a photo, and here it looks completely realistic. Okay, so this is how you use the sample tool. You can use the clone stamp, take the sample to the point where you want to add. Here you require two images, although you can do in the same image as well. So on the right hand side we also want to remove this subject, the person standing in the back, to make the photo more attractive. We have sampled the ground on the right hand side, and just take the exact position. You have to just click once to the sample area to select the sample, and here you click, just take a brush and just start painting over it. You can paint or you can just even click to make it precise. I'm just matching this line. Okay, you can take anything for reference that will have a gradual effect. Okay, you can add the lost information and fill it in the photos. So this is how you do this clone tool. When you have multiple versions of the same photo, say this is a cricket shot, and we may shot the same person with different angles. Sometimes he may have missed the ball, sometimes he have missed the wide ball, the no ball, the six hit run, anything. And we can create all the things. So here, just imagine we are creating a photo tutorial of a cricket match, how different positions that you can do, what should be prescribed, uh, how you can take a ball, how you can miss a ball. This could be used for any academy, anything. And here we can just edit to show it perfectly well. So clone stamp tool comes in handy, where you got multiple images of the same subject. You can use any other selection tool like quick selection, magic wand, or anything else. But here in this particular scenario, when you have multiple photos, it's better to use the clone step, because a clone stamp would have a smooth effect. It won't have any distraction. The sample area is large. You can also change the size of the brush, and sometimes if your subject is too complex, it's advisable to just zoom into the subject and match. So here we have created these two images, and you can use the selection tool, draw a rectangle to crop the photo to get the subject that you want. So here we got this thing, and we can go to the edit or the image to crop an image. Okay, you can also transform this subject. You can scale it up, you can rotate, you can flip, you can design a poster, you can create a composition, anything you want. Okay, you can create a new layer out of this subject, and you can export it to the way you want. So okay, you can turn the visibility mode on and off to make view the main image, and this is how we done. So this is clone stamp was very easy. Try to apply this thing on any photo. Take multiple shots of the same subject, be it a player or versions of different transportation bikes and so on. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about creating a duotone effect in Photoshop using gradient map adjustment layer. So here we got an image of a migratory bird, and we want to change all the colors of this image into just two colors. So just go to the adjustment layer, and the last option is the gradient map. So just click on this to add a gradient map adjustment layer. You can also add a gradient map by right clicking the layer panel and different ways. So here we got by default some options: the red, green, the purple, orange, and different colors for duotone. Different photos work in different ways. Say if you require these images, you can also create a heat map and a different color map. But here we want to create a custom duotone effect, and it can be done very easily. Okay, there's no need for paintbrush or any complex business here. We are just using the gradient map. So here we got these two colors, the violet and the orange, and here we have to just double click the selection color option, and you can change the value of the color. Say okay, you can change it to the brown. You got these three options. You got to change it to white, and once you double click, you got this entire color spectrum, and you can change the value into different things. So you can change the hue to red, pink, blue, green. The best thing is you should play with the colors. Okay, just be open to experiment with a different color, and based on your color desire, your mood, or your narration of this story that you want to convey with this photo, you can change the color. Say if you want to run a campaign to save migratory birds, you can change the color to green or something like that will appeal people. And if you want to uh, just add something to your just project work, you can change a different color. If you know the color theory well, you can choose a proper color combination. Because we are using a duotone, we can have two colors. So I would prefer using the green color tone here. uh, so we will be experimenting with a light green and a combination of blue and the yellow. You can go with the overlapping colors. So the blue and the yellow are close to the green. You can experiment with the other colors as well. Although you can add multiple colors into the color spectrum. um, Here we got this duotone. In the similar way, you can create tritone and more different number of tones. You can use 3 colors, 4 colors, multiple colors, any number of colors you want to have in photo. It will affect the colors based on the darkness and the brightness. So here if you select 2 different colors, one dark and one bright, so the dark color would affect the shadows and the dark areas of the photo, and the white color will affect the white. So here we choose the 2 different colors, one yellow and one dark green. We can also change the value of the mid slider, so we can increase the value of greenness or yellowness in the same photo. So you can also add more colors here. Okay, so just experiment. So here we are using a combination of green and yellow. So we will experiment with increasing the green component or the yellow component. So when you increase the value of green component, the photo doesn't look decent. So thus we will try increasing the value of yellow, or just keep it normal here. Okay, you can also individually drag the shadows, the highlights, and the dark and the bright spectrum as well. And once you are done, just hit OK, and the gradient map layer adjustment layer is applied. You can also apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. So if you want to have some advanced customized colors, you can do so. You can turn the opacity and different color options differently. Okay, so if you are just not sure about what color to choose, it's better to just duplicate the original photo, keep it one over another, and just try to apply the gradient map adjustment layer multiple times. Say one with this orange and purple color, and one with the custom color that we have created, the green and yellow shade, and you can have different things. So if you want to take opinion of your friends, colleagues, and anybody else, you can show them various options that you have created, and then you can decide which option to choose. So try to do this on your own. Play with the gradient map, create amazing duotones, keep learning, and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you're going to learn about adding an image into a 3D hat in Photoshop. So let's start with this. So we can create multiple 3D objects using mesh preset, and here we can create a donut, we can create a cube wrap, or we can create a hat. So we have this decent looking wallpaper for an autumn season, and this is a forest image that has a road and grassland and multiple leaves in yellow color, and we just need to create a hat out of this. So this could be used for creating a forest ranger hat, as a simple cowboy or forest ranger hat that can be used for various purposes. So this looks pretty well, and here we can rotate our hat to have a glimpse over this thing. So if you want to create some kind of product, you can have this thing in your mind. Okay, so now let's create a background layer. Just select a solid, and here we can create any background layer, and we are going to use an eyedropper tool. Just select an eyedropper tool to pick the color right from the hat, so it would have a wooden look or a decent background that can be used for simple product imagery, and it is here. So we just want to have some shade of yellows or browns or simple black color that can be used in the background. So in the same way we can create multiple hats or different objects. We are going to design the forest ranger hat of 2 category, one for savanna or dry temperate forest conditions, that is here. We have the camouflage texture here, and we can create a different uh, hat for tropical rainforest, that we will going to do this next time. And you can move your object using the controllers X, Y, and Z, red, blue, or green. And when you click on the arrow, it will move in a particular direction, or if you want to scale it up and down, just click on the square icon, and it will make your object look bigger or smaller. Okay, And you can always zoom in or zoom out by clicking the control plus and control minus, or you can simply scroll using your mouse scroll. So here it is. We can select something. You can disable the shadow or enable it if you want to have. And if you want to rotate your object, you can just simply rotate, get view of the back side. You can change the angle of the shadow by going to the materials, and it will allow you to adjust some lighting as well. And here we got some image for green forest with dark branches of the tree, and we are going to create a hat in the same way by just going to the 3D mesh layer, form, mesh preset, and hat. And this is how we have this 3D hat. Just rotate it around to have a view. It will be a 3D object, so you can view it with a different angle. So now just create a solid background layer using the same method that we applied in the previously, and just use the eyedropper tool to extract some color from the photo. So if you're not sure about what color you want to choose and you have to decide with your teammates or friends or family, you can just create multiple copies or just simply change the background color in real time, and they would suggest you what color you can move with. So it is better to use the eyedropper tool here, because the color would be connected to the color of the image and would be something from the outside world. And here we got two hats. Okay, so we can combine them in a single view panel. We can go to the windows and arrange them in a two up vertical view, or so that you can view them side by side. Just go to the window option, not view, window, and just select, go to arrange, and two up vertical. You could set up in a two up horizontal or the vertical. So right now we need a vertical, and you can zoom out a bit by using either the mouse scroll or control minus on the keyboard. It will reduce your size, it will zoom you out a little bit. Okay, and you can rotate it to set your image. And here it is. We have these two forest ranger hats side by side, and we have designed it. We have taken this photo and we have added it to a 3D object, that is hat. So it looks beautiful. In the same way, you can design different apparels and other 3D objects in Photoshop. So try to do this thing on your own and have a view of this thing. Keep learning and keep moving ahead. Stay creative. All the best. Hey, welcome back friend. Here in this lesson you are going to learn about creating a selected color effect in Photoshop. So let's start. So here we got an image with a few tropical fruits, guava, kept in the background. Here we got a beautifully chopped guava in the center, and we can add the grayscale adjustment layer and change the value of individual colors. So once you increase the value, say, of the yellow color or decrease the value of yellow color, the component kept in yellow color will be in dark, otherwise it will be bright. So this is how you set the gray scale adjustment layer. But first we are going to create a mask here. So you can use any selection tool. I'm using the quick selection tool, and just hold the left mouse click and just drop over the selection. So next we want to change the color of the background of this photo other than the selected area to be black and white. So we have selected this component, and we need to just right click and invert selection. So this way, just right click, select invert. So this way we have selected everything else other than this cut banana, and when we hit the grayscale adjustment layer, it will convert everything into grayscale. Next we can change the value of individual colors, like intensity of the green and the yellow colors, because the fruits are outer layer of the fruits are generally in yellow and green color. We can make it more intense black or intense white depending on your choice. And we just have this pinkish cut, beautifully cut guava kept in the center with the pink color. So this black in the background, black and white in the background, and the red color, or and you can have any color. Here we are using the red color, will keep more emphasis on the photo. It will add to narrate your story, your photo in a different way. So for Instagrammers and everybody who do this kind of photo edits, this is the effect that you can do very easily in Photoshop. Try to do this thing on your own. Keep learning and keep moving ahead.
Hi there, welcome to this tutorial on After Effects. Here in this practical exercise, you will learning how to create a new composition or a new project in After Effects. So let's start. Here we have just opened a new instance of After Effects, and from the project menu, you got an option to create a new project. You can click it there, and this screen will appear on your monitor, and then you got an option to create a new composition or new composition from footage. So just create a new composition. Here you got a setting. Just provide a name of the composition you want to create. uh, Provide any name. Then you got a lot of options here, the width, height, and the option, the preset you can choose. I will be using the default 1920 by 1080 pixel, and it is widely used. It is high definition. You can choose the frame rate. Here 29.9 would be the better frame rate. You can choose the pixel, the square pixel would work here. You can choose the drop frame or not. You can limit the duration of this composition. So in that case, you can't create a timeline greater than that. A composition is completely different from a video, so it should not be very long. For editing, it would be difficult. You can choose a default background color, or you can add a background using solid later. You'll learning that thing. You can toggle this transparency mode on and off. So if you want your screen to be transparent, you can do so. And you can also zoom in the screen size. Here you can reduce the screen size or scale it up based on your requirement. You can zoom in. And there is a workspace settings there. You can choose the default, learning, or advanced editing workspace. You got a lot of options we'll be exploring. And in the workspace, you got detail. Go to Windows. You got a lot of options that you can dock the panels on the screen, like limerick scope for color, effects and preset, the timeline, and everything else, the project window. So keep learning, keep moving ahead. You will be learning a lot of in After Effects in the coming exercises. Hi, welcome back, friend. Here in this practical exercise, you will be learning about various After Effects tools, the shape layer, text, and solid. So let's start. Here you got a shape drawing tool. You can select it, select any shape. Just hold it down to select a circle. Here you got a stroke and fill. So you can readjust the size of a stroke and scale it down or up as per your requirement. You can change the color of your shape. Here I have changed the fill to dark blue, and use the selection tool to move your shape in and around the screen. You can also scale it up or down. You can change the size of your circle, or you can change the shape, twist it around, make it oval, and more. Here, when you go to the layer option, you got a lot of transformation tools that you can adjust. After Effects is about motion graphics, and motion graphics require a motion. So you can set any kind of motion from position, scale, orientation, and a lot of thing here. So just control this. Click on the stopwatch icon to set a keyframe. Keyframe is a unit of time where you define its position or any value. So here we are animating the position. So by setting a keyframe, we provided a value of the position, and to the other keyframe we provided a different value. You can set a lot of keyframes in this way. Don't worry if you don't get it at the moment. You will be learning all of these things in the coming exercises in much detail. So don't worry, stay tuned. So you can move this shape in and around the screen. And when you want to create a new background, you can create a right click, new, solid, and you can choose your color. So you can create a background. You can have multiple backgrounds as well. So just move it down, because in After Effects A layer put on the top of another layer is considered to be displayed to your audience. We are going to learn more in depth of After Effects. Keep learning, keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back, friend. Here in this practical exercise, we're learning how to create a composition in After Effects using built-in presets. So let's start. So go to Effects and Preset. Make sure it is available from window. So just go to Backgrounds and use any of the presets there and just drag and drop on the background or the shape layer. So here we have used the circuit background applied on the solid. So here it creates some matrix like animation, and here you got a lot of controls or settings that you can change to make your effect look awesome or fine tune based on your requirement. Here I've changed the color of the background effect. I've changed the pipes to sky blue or lighter shade of blue. Similarly, you can apply some different effect on shape as well or on text or anything else. Here I've applied the magma to the central uh, circular shape. So you can change the color of the midtones or you can do a lot of things. You can change the rotation time or more. Here let's create a new text here. Just use the text and type anything on the screen. Here I've written the code. We have to make it a little bigger to make it visible, and you can convert it to capital case and change the color. Let's make it white. And then using the selection tool, just reposition our text on the screen. Here I've placed everything in the center, and let's change the shape of this circle and make it a oval. So here we have changed the shape, and let's apply some effect on this text as well. Or when you move your text behind or in the lower direction of the layer panel, you know that which layer is put behind it is reflected by the lower sign here. Here you got a lot of effects. Just go to text effects and you can use any of the text effect. Here I will be using the mechanical algorithm effect. So here it looks like it is decoding. So it can create some hacking based documentary or programming series or something like that. Similarly, for different scenarios, there are already built in presets. So you don't need to create everything from scratch. Although with After Effects, you have to create everything from scratch to have a better control, or advanced effects can be created using After Effects. So when you are running out of time or you have a limited time constraint, you can use a built-in presets. Or basically a lot of beginners do also use this presets. You can use it to in a lot of effects. Some of the text animation are easy to implement. They look very advanced and it has already been used by a lot of web series or and Hollywood movies. So you don't need to be fascinated by these effects. Some are just presets. So you can have a better balance of these things. You will be learning more in the coming exercises. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, after you have created a composition in After Effects, so the next obvious step is to convert it to a video. So there are two ways to convert it to a video. You can use the built-in render queue in After Effects, or you can use the media encoder. Here we will be exploring to use the render queue. So here you can add a video to render queue. It will be rendered later. So here you can have a lot of settings. You can change the output to a different format, but here the default format is AVI. AVI is a large file. It takes time to render as well. Here you got render settings. You got a lot of settings like the quality. You can set the time rate, work area, and frame rate. The default frame rate must be 29 or 30 frames per second. It would be perfect for all the scenarios and just hit the render button once you are done with the setting. When you have a good GPU, then it renders faster as compared to non-GPU systems. And once you're done, it will be reflected here, and you can open and play that video. You are free to use that video in any of the video editing softwares to use in your documentaries or any video projects.
Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, you're learning how to create simple 2D animation with After Effects. So let's start. Now just create a new composition and just go to settings. You can provide your name and choose the default preset. Here I am going with a HDTV 1080 high definition with 30 frame per second, 29.97 to be exact, and we have chosen the width 1920 by 1080 pixel, and we have chosen the default background to be black. You can change the background or make it transparent, it's your choice. So here we will be animating a simple car and move it in 2-dimension background. So just import our assets. I've created these three assets from Adobe Illustrator, and these are vector files. You can import the PNG files because PNG maintain the transparency, or you can use the vector files. When you scale your image or make it smaller in size and again try to scale it back in the JPG or PNG format that are rasters or pixel based, you would lose the quality when you scale up. But when you scale up using the vector file, you won't lose the quality. So let's go with the vector file, and you can reposition your image anywhere on the screen. I would be using the vector file, the main Illustrator. So just simply add it to the layer panel, and this layer is there placed. And then just go to the selection tool and just add the background. Here just we want to add a background. Here we have created a simple mountain terrain with a clear background sky. You can move the background as well, but here we would be learning how to animate the car. So just place the car above the background, so it would be visible and car is smaller, and then rescale it down to the appropriate size you want. So you'll just reposition our car to the left corner of the screen, and this car would be moved above it slightly. Here I've created some cloud, so just place two clouds, place it on a corner of the screen in the sky, and you can copy this thing or you can move it around on the screen. Just Control C and Control V. You can copy a layer and duplicate a layer easily. So here we got two clouds, one background, hilly terrain, and a car. So now just animate it. So here just move the keyframes to the in the timeline. You got the preview option here in the effects and presets, and when you preview it, it won't preview because we have not yet added any keyframes. So just zoom in the timeline a little bit further so that 1 second unit is visible. So we will be moving just say half a second, and just go to the car, and you can turn the invisibility on and off. You can go to transformations and apply transformation to any of the properties. Here we will be using the position, so just keyframe, hit the stopwatch icon, you can see it clearly, and it will add a keyframe. Keyframe is a unit of time that stores the value of a particular property. Here the position, you can add the property to opacity or scale. So after some time, place one more keyframe with a gap of say 1 second and move the car to the top of the first hill. Then just wait for a second. Here the car is moving. We got a simple animation. Move 1 second later and then hit the diamond icon again and place your car to the desired position. You can observe the path motion path of this car is being created by the keyframes in the timeline you create. So then replace the car again in the forward direction. A car is moving from left to the right end of the screen, and then move it out. So when you replay it, it will look like car is moving. But we want to fine tune it because the terrain is curvy and car seems like it is flying or hovering. It is not touching the ground. The wheels are not touching the ground at all time. So we have to orient it according to the path. So when it is moving uphill, the back portion of the car must be a little bit lower or curved. So what we can do first, we have to realign the path itself to the mountain terrain. So you can move the points up and down to the proper location. This way everything would be aligned our path, and then would be next step, we would be orienting our car. Just right click this layer and go to transform. Here you find the transform, and then just go to auto orient. So this will auto orient your object, here the car, according to the path, and you have to auto orient, disable it, enable it, sorry. So this way the car is rotating, orienting itself according to the terrain. So it is very cool. This is the power of After Effects. You can control a lot of property very easily. It may look very difficult to the beginner, but when you start applying it, it would be easy for you. So here you can change the duration of the keyframes. Go to this detailed options, and you can change the speed of your car or make it faster or slower. There are multiple ways to do this thing, but we won't be using this method. So when you don't need, just collapse it, because we don't want this option to fill our timeline. Timeline must be in focus. It must be clearly visible. So here we would be using the graph editing tool to control the speed and position. So here this is there's a small icon next to the timeline, and you can zoom in the screen or zoom out the screen as and when you want. For easy, sometimes your object may be placed out of the screen and you want to apply some effect here. You can scale the cloud up and down. You can change the size of your cloud, make it smaller or bigger. So just go to scaling property, and in the starting point just make it a little bit smaller and wait for a second. Put another keyframe and enlarge it. So then replay it. So our car is moving in the hill slowly, and the cloud is growing. So we have created a simple effect, and in the next video you will be learning about speed graphs and how you can control the speed of your car. So when it is moving uphill, it must have the reduced speed, and when it is moving downhill, it must gain a speed. Keep learning. Now moving forward with our car animation, here we can control the speed. So we have created a simple car, provided the keyframes. It is moving in the forward direction over time. So when it is moving uphill, we want it to slow down because it takes a lot of energy to move uphill. And when it is moving downhill, it must gain some speed. So we can do the same thing in different ways. So just hit the graph editor. It is next to the timeline. Simple. So just click it. Here we got two formations, one in green color and one is in red. So it represents the x and y coordinates, or it can represent different parameters. You can select all the keyframes and go to this tool, and when you move this points keyframe here in its curve in the upward direction or downward, its value will change. So we don't want our car to fly in the sky above the clouds. We want it to remain in the same way. So what we can do is select a keyframe at a particular point for both the coordinates and slide it slightly towards the center. It is in a similar way you can do with the keyframes directly in the timeline. So here you can note when car is moving downhill, it is getting some speed gain. Similarly, you can do the same thing with the next keyframe for the second hill. So it will be slow when moving uphill, and when getting downhill, it will gain some momentum. You can directly edit the speed. Here I have achieved the same result using the position tool, position graph. So you can check it. The keyframe position is reflected here, and you can perform similar operations. Try to innovate and build some more things. You can add a plane, flight in the sky. You can add a ship. You can add something that is relevant to you. You can turn the opacity on and off, or you can have some value. You can keyframe the rotation, scale, anchor point, and more. So in some movies, you can have the moving car in the sky that can be turned invisible. So you can apply the same effect. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, you're learning to create 3D photo gallery effect with After Effects. With 3D photo gallery, you could add a lot of photos and videos in your composition to create an awesome opener or an ending scene of a documentary or a vlog or anything else. When you have a lot of memories and you want to present it, you can use this effect. So just create a new composition. The main composition is of the size 1920 by 1080, and we just need to create one more composition. Here just provide any width or height, but it must be square shape because we would be using this square composition to creating placeholders for images and videos. So just go to the composition for placeholder and you can rename it to mark any placeholder or any image. Here we would be using a photo term. So photo 1 for the first photo, photo 2 for the second photo, and in a similar fashion we would be using this placeholder. And when you are in the placeholder, just draw a square shape of the covering the size. Here we have a no fill, selected no fill, and to because we want to add an image, and we have selected a stroke, a thick stroke, and you can enlarge this stroke or change the color. We will be placing your images just behind this square bracket, this stroke, and you can change the color of your stroke. Yeah, I have made it a yellow color, and when you are done, just place another square just below to write some text here, because some places must have some tags associated with them. It could be a person's name, a location's name, or an year or date or time, anything you can place. So it is better. I personally prefer this thing. Otherwise, a lot of people or content creators don't use this text bar below this placeholder. So you can go with this, or it's your choice. Here I've made the stroke of the same color and made the fill to look white because I want our text to be there. Okay, so when you are done, just go there and import the images. uh, Here I have images from my Mumbai trip, so I have a lot of photos there. Mumbai is a very popular city located in India. That is the economical capital, so I would be placing some key things that are popular for the Mumbai, the main landmarks and other things. So let's begin with the Gateway of India. It is very iconic landmark. So I'll just rescale this image and adjust the size. You can obviously use your own images, be your personal images, or you can use of any trip or memories you have, or any documentary project you are going to do. So just readjust it so that it would be in centered and in prime focus. So after you are done with placing that image, just write the text Here I would be writing the name of the location. So here it is the Gateway of India. You can choose any color you want. Here I would be going with the black color. You can rescale them or adjust its location using the selection tool and make it a bit small to fit in the placeholder text area. And I've used this first letter in capital in a big size, and all letters are capital. You can choose your own formatting. So this is the way. So next we would be just copying this same composition. Just hear this very carefully. We are going to copy the same composition multiple times, and we will be replacing the text and the images in each composition. So here is our first composition. Just select it there from the project panel and just copy it multiple times. The number of photos you would be using in your video effect 3D photo album, so the number of times you would be repeating the same thing. Here when you go to the second composition, just choose any other images. Here I've selected this red bus, the city bus, iconic city bus, and replace the size. You can remove the default image and replace it with this and rescale it once you are done. So here it is a iconic vintage heritage of the city of Mumbai, and it is called city bus, the double decker. Double decker buses are popular for London, Mumbai, and various other places. You can add transportations, a landmark, anything you want. I would be using this thing. Similarly, go to third composition, and in the similar manner we could add some different image. Here I would go with the local train, the suburban trains. These are very popular. It is the vibe of Mumbai. A lot of people have their great success stories related to this train. They are the heart lines of Mumbai, so it has a very importance. So here we place this image in the proper location and just replace the text. Here I will be putting the suburban trains, and that's it. In a similar manner you could add more photos in the different compositions. I would be skipping that part. Hi, welcome back. Now moving forward with creating a photo gallery. From the previous exercise we have created 3 placeholders, and I have skipped that part. I have created multiple photos and placeholders, and we will be adding all these placeholders in the main composition and create the camera and a null. So just go to main composition and just add the composition for placeholders and just add a new solid here. Just create a new solid. We can have any background color. So I choose the lighter shade of orange to be a background. So just check this out. I've created the solid. Place it below the placeholders. It doesn't look that cool. So just create a new solid here with a lighter tone. So just select that color and move to a lighter tone for the same color. This way it would be appealing to eyes. Just delete that color. You can do the same thing again and again. The best thing is you can have a transparent background or a white background. So it's your choice. You can also add an image to the background, but I don't want that thing. You can add the map of a location, here in this case Mumbai. So I can place this placeholders uh, next to each other, so this way the effect would be visible. I have 3 photos. Just do this with these 3 placeholders: the city bus, the main gateway of India, and the suburban train. So they are in line. So this way our background is visible and everything is visible. Just go to the view option and select the 2 views option and make everything in 3D, because we want to animate them in 3D. So just on the left hand screen, just select any image and place it in front, slightly in front. Okay, so it will look bigger and it will be in front because animation we would be doing everything in 3D. And just select this thing. You can scale it down, make it big or small based on your requirement. When you have a lot of images, you will be arranging in a similar manner. When you make the background solid in 2D and don't make it 3D, it won't get affected here. It will stick to its place. So this way we got three images. These are placed in this manner, and just create a new camera. Right click, camera. Get the default settings, or you can have a two node camera or one node based on your requirement. Here I would be using the default camera for two node and create a new null object. So the camera would be moving and the null object would be tracked to the camera. So the camera needs to be pick whip to the null, and where whatever transformation you apply to the null, camera would follow it. So here just zoom the timeline a bit. Here we have 1 second timeline, and move to half a second and go select the position and keyframe it, and you can select default value. Here at the beginning just let it be the default value and move after say half a second and set another keyframe and zoom in a bit to the main image so that main image would be in focus. So here I just move after half a second and add one more keyframe. You can apply easing, easy ease would be better, and you can change the speed later on. Add one more keyframe over an interval of half a second and just change the location of your camera and go to the next image. Make use of all three axis coordinates x, y and z. So in that case your main image would be in focus. So here this is. So apply easing to the same image as well and just preview this thing. So it is not that smooth. Let's make it smooth. The animation is good but needs to be refined a bit. So we need to just add some spacing in between. This animation is too fast. Just select these two keyframes and move it a bit later, and just select any single keyframe or move it further. Here I've increased the gap from half a second to 1 second in the second case as well. So here just play it again so it goes to that image faster. It is a little bit smoother than the earlier one. And just go to graph editing tool and here just make it center. Just drag the outer and inner edges of the speed values and make it this hump in the center. So in this case it gets the speed gradually and then it slows down. So here this is a simple animation. You can add more images and create an awesome photo gallery effect. Keep learning.
Hello, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, we will learning about map animation where you could show your travel destination on the map. And so here we have a simple world map and let's create a new solid. The solid will show the direction. Actually solid is a background and we will be using it to create an arrow. So let's have it. So here we have a solid. Choose any color because it will be changing. So it doesn't matter. So let's make it big and use the pen tool to mark the direction. When you click once on a location, it will draw a point. But when you left click and drag, you will get handles to control the curve. So here we want to create a curvature, not the line. So you can do this. or you can use other tool to create a curve. So here we have a source in Brazil and destination will traveling to South Korea. So here in this map, we will be using these 2 points. So then just go to FX, generate, and just generate a stroke. So here is a stroke, and here you get a lot of controls. We just need to do a little changes, make it transparent, make this stroke a little bigger, and put this background image on top of the pre-composition, the map. And here just change the color of the stroke. So yellow must match this background because the background is in wooden shade. Otherwise, it depends on your choice. Here we have an arrow, a curve linking Brazil to South Korea, and change. You got a lot of control. You can change the opacity of this brush, or you can do a lot of changes. You can have this in a dotted manner or a continuous line or any other format you want. Here I'm interested in getting a continuous line, so it will be better. We will be animating this line because we want this map to rotate a bit on 3 dimension, and the stroke will start from Brazil and get completed at Singapore. So it will show the direction. You have seen the similar maps on various blogs on YouTube and other websites. So we will be creating a similar stuff. You should learn these concepts, and after you learn these things, you can apply it. Here we have keyframe this end. So initially make it 0, and after some time you can make it 100%. So it starts from Brazil and completes as South Korea. It is equivalent to adding trim path. You can do trim path, or you can control it from the stroke effects panel. You can select these 2 keyframes and drag their location in or out wherever you want. So you can apply easy ease, because easing will gradually increase your speed, or you can do a lot of changes here. You got a property control. So here, or this flight trip starts from Brazil and completes at South Korea in a slow fashion. You can add other keyframes, make it a bit thicker. It looks smaller, but when we zoom in the next video, you will be learning how to rotate this map completely. So there we will be zooming in. So this stroke will appear bigger. Just you need to keyframe this end and make it 100% when it is. And now after it has reached the South Korea, we want a circle to appear next to South Korea. So just get a new circle from the shape drawing tool and draw a circle. Here we have to make the fill transparent and opacity stroke as a little thick. We want a red colored stroke and we want it to be in the background. Use the selection tool to drag it behind this main curvature of our trip, and we want this circle to start. It will show actually landing when our flight is landing at the place. It shows a shock wave or something like that. So it must start just after our landing has been done. So just scale it to 0 at the point the landing is completed, and wait for a second and make it 100% the scale. So after that, or you can make it a little bigger, 150, or you can use the chain tool here to change the coordinates of both x and y axis simultaneously, or you can change them separately. Here you got the speed control. Just make it to the center. So it will start slowly and then complete rapidly. Here is a preview. So this animation looks nice. You can revise it or change the color or make the stroke a little bigger based on your choice. You can change the color as well. And the next video we will be learning about animating this using null and rotating in 3 coordinates. You can change the color. You can make it blue, red, or any other color. So blue looks cool. Hi, now moving forward with our map effect. Now we should add a camera. Just go to new camera. We would require the default configuration, but if you want, you can customize it based on your requirement and then just add a null layer. Null layer is a transparent layer. It doesn't exist. We have to just pick whip the camera to null because we want a camera to follow null layer, and we have to make all the layers in 3D, and we have to pick whip all the layers to null. So in that case, when we apply any effect, say position, rotation, orientation, everything, it will be applied to all the layers that are connected to null. And when we move null, the camera would track this null layer. So here we would be interested in applying a 3D rotation on this null layer. So X, Y, and Z, all 3 coordinates, we need to keyframe everything. So just move half a second and just keyframe the position, scale, and 3 coordinates for rotation. So just initially we need to define a basic location. Here our starting location is Brazil. So we want a western hemisphere of the globe to be in focus. And when we are moving to South Korea, so at that point we want eastern hemisphere of Earth to be in focus, and it will appear bigger or closer to the audience. So we want that kind of rotation. Try to adjust the position, scale, and rotation so that the black part of the screen is not visible. The screen is completely covered by our map. So we adjust this and now tilt it a bit, the X rotation, the Y and the Z coordinate. So just move them slightly. This effect is quite common on blogging and production documentaries, and people use this thing very much. So this is very frequently used. Here, just keyframe and move 1.5 seconds, say later, or any time interval you want, and just uh, rotate this map to other side of the world. You can rotate using the cursor mouse. Just left click on the value and just drag towards left or right, the direction where you want to rotate, or you can use the value, provide your numerical value right from the keyboard. You have to adjust it. There is no hard bound rule for the value of coordinates. And just reposition it, move it towards the center, and the red square is what null is there. So you can identify this null. Null is not visible, but it is a simplified technique to apply a transformation to a transformation or any effect to all the layers that are connected. Individually, if try to apply some effect on the in all the layers, it would be difficult or time taking. So null replaces all this. So this is a preview of our animation. It looks cool and it rotates. It stops just before the impression on South Korea is there, the blue circle. So here just refine it. We need to add a text. It would be better. We want to label the Brazil and South Korea. So you have to choose the font or color accordingly. Here we have used the wooden background. So the brown text for Brazil would be better. So here we just place Brazil on the location, and it is not moving because it is not in 3D and it is not connected to the null. So let's make it 3D and connect to the null object. And when you convert an text layer or any other layer to 3D, gets a little bit trickier to adjust its position because there are other layers that are there. So you don't have clear visibility over this. You can get more details by adjusting the view, the camera, but here we don't need that kind of precision. So let's readjust using the simple transformation tools. You can adjust the position, the size, and anything you want. So just fit it towards continent in the Amazon rainforest. Brazil is there, and when we move to the eastward side, the B comes out of this continent a little bit. So let's readjust it a bit so it is done. And now we want to label the South Korea. Just create another text and just place it right over the ocean because South Korea is small in size. So these two words won't fit there when we have the global view. So let's put the South Korea on South China Sea or Pacific Ocean. You can change the text size. You want everything in capital case. You can uh, make it a small letter or first letter appear bigger. So South Korea is placed. Also make it 3D and replace it accordingly. So here we have placed the South Korea, and you can preview this effect again and again. So when you preview everything, just make sure that whatever you try to present is actually presented, and we have to refine it again and again if it doesn't look good to your eyes. So when you are happy with your work, your audience would be happy as well. So here, this is simple thing. When you are done, just export this video and use it using any video editing software to any of your vlog or documentary. Keep learning, keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friends. Here in this practical exercise, you're learning how to do camera tracking. With camera tracking, you can place an image, an object, a text on the video, and it will stick to a particular point of the video. So here we have just created a new composition and just import a video, and here we have a clean short video of an hill fort, and here we want to place some images. So just check that in Windows the tracker option is enabled or not. If it is not enabled, just check it, so it will be visible. So just select the video and hit the track camera option. So here it will start tracking your camera uh, when it is moving on the video. It will put the track points on the video. If you are from a cinematography background, you would understand this very easily. You have already know about green screen and putting all of the tracking markers manually. This thing can be done in the post production using After Effects, where you place the tracking points after a video is recorded. So when you have the track points on the screen, it could be any object like stones on the left hand side, as you can see in the video, or anything else. You can identify those points and place something on that. That could be an image, text, or anything else. So here we got all the track points for this video. It is a short video and we got a lot of track points. These are multiple colors, and here you got a lot of options to do edit. Let's place some coins and currencies here. So let's make it look like a game level. So here it may look like you are playing a game and moving to a next level. This gate signifies the level, and let's place some coins or something like that. You can place a tag text here, put your name if you're using creating a vlog, or put anything. You can put your logo and just right click after selecting a track point to create a new solid or text, whatever you feel like. And just go to the track solid. Just right click, do pre-composition. Just create a pre-composition. So this way it will create a new composition for After Effects, and just put an image or text that you want to do. and just delete the previous image and resize it to put your object on the screen. So this way the black part of this composition would be transparent, it will go away, and here you will be left with your transparent uh, PNG image or any vector you put. You can use any vector or PNG format is recommended over JPG because JPEG have the white background. So here you can rotate or place this thing. So just focus. The coin is not moving with the video. Coin is put on that point. This is the magic of track points. Track point is very powerful thing. This is one of the key features of After Effects. You can't do this thing in simple video editing softwares. So these are the very powerful techniques. When you master it, you could create awesome videos. So in the next part, we will be adding more component to place some point here, something on the wall of this. So you can put a lot of stuff here. You can put a text here. The wall appears darker. So whatever component you put here, it will be vibrant and easily visible to the audience. So you can add a lot of thing here. You got this video and you got a 3D camera tracker. You can copy the same coins on the multiple levels. It will denote these stages. Similarly, you could have your own videos to track. When you are shooting a vlog, you want to put some holdings on the screen, some text, some images. You want to place some person there. You can also place a video there. It depends on the GPU capacity, processing capacity of your system, uh, which will determine the time taking for this editing to be done. Hi, welcome back, friend. Now adding more component to our video using track matte. So let's do it. You can check or uncheck the render track points to make them visible or invisible depending on your choice. So here just put any wall of the fort. So here just put a text here, right click, put a text here, create text, and you can rescale this text from the control moving there. Just press S to control the scale, or you can alternatively use the bounding box to re-change the size of the text. So here just select this text, go to the options and make it change something here. Just make it level 2, change the size. We want it to be in capital letters, so make them capital, all capital, and change the color a bit. You can change the color easily using the color fill. Make it some vibrant color. Just check which color matches with the background and gets to your feeling. And when you're done with color change, you can move forward with adding more components. So here let's select any tag. You can choose any of the track point, but be careful because the track point must be parallel to the screen where you want to display. They could easily get inclined or unmatched to the scenario. So here this is located at a suitable place, but we want to change this direction to a different wall, or you can add something more here. So let's add some more coins here. Just create a new solid by right clicking a track point and then again just pre-compose this solid. And here when we got a new solid, just place some vectors or images that you have. Be sure to add a transparent background for the images. So in that case, it won't look like an image, it will look like a component placed right on the video. When you're using Photoshop or Illustrator, here I'm using a vector that is created using Illustrator. So I've created this as a PNG file. You can also use direct vectors like SVG and Illustrator files in After Effects. So here you got these three rotations when you make it 3D object, and you can check it. So here we can rescale them and just replay the video again. So when you replay the video, you can make sure that the things are happening as you are planning to do. So when it looks cool to your eyes, it will be suitable for your audience as well. So just place these coins a little bit lower, and you can adjust the label text on the different side. So here just make it a little big because it was not visible when we were starting this level. It should be visible. So that angle is not good. You can change the angle or rotate it a bit. It does not require that it should match to the previous or the default configuration. You can change the location, place it somewhere else, or rotate it on different directions. You have all three handles for position and rotation, X, Y, and Z, and you can place accordingly, adjust on your own basis. So here on the right hand side, we got a darker background and it is clear. It won't go out of the screen. Just put it little lower to the ground and it remains roughly to the center of the screen. And with the effects and presets, you got a lot of effects here. You can apply some hue color effect or rotating pulsar or something like that on the text. And when you apply this effect, you got some text effect as well. So it is changing the color because we were using a rotating hue, and you can create this effect. So it looks like it is a game level, and the level of the game is changing. It looks like something Subway Surfer or Mario, where you can get rewards like coins. This warning may occur sometimes when you by mistake click some layer on the composition screen. So just simply ignore it and go to the main composition screen. Nothing is missed there. You have to just edit your everything on main composition and just check it. So it is done very smoothly, and the label and the coins are placed accordingly. And when we pass this level, we are moving out of the gate, moving one level upward. So this was the concept of the video. You can practice these things on your own. Try with your own videos. Sometimes with a few videos that may have some shaky background, or the video is very fast moving, the objects are untrackable. So those videos don't get tracked uh, track easily. You can't apply the track points in those videos. Otherwise, in most of the videos can be tracked. You can place trackers on almost a lot of videos, and you can create an awesome documentary or a travel log or something else you want to shoot. So try building your own solution. Keep learning, keep moving ahead.